No industry has more data leaks than the healthcare industry. And this is oftentimes due to the fact that technology is really old, databases are still from the 60s and 70s, and they are not protected because, of course, technology is not the main interest point of a clinic. But luckily, there are different solutions evolving for healthcare providers and clinics, which is that we can build a data warehouse with medical data in a safe and transparent way as well. And similar to the data warehouse that I was building for the finance and banking industry, check the trivia video for this. In the case of Buchinger Wilhelmi, we implemented a safe and non-public data warehouse, which means that we are not hosting the data warehouse in AWS or somewhere else which is public, but rather host it locally. And as I said, we could use Hadoop, Trino, and whatever for this. But if you're building, especially for smaller databases, a good combination of PostgreSQL or TimescaleDB, we can still have the benefits of big data like distributed machines, distributed computing, but with a normal SQL database. And it really depends on the case if Trino, like the big, huge Hadoop style database, makes sense, or a well-tuned PostgreSQL. But in this case, it was the PostgreSQL. And something we did to ensure data safety is separating sensitive data from not too sensitive data. And I mean, in the medical context, basically everything is sensitive. But what I mean is that we can set different columns in different tables to sensitive, which only, for example, only the research department is allowed to see. And for other people, like let's say if you're accessing this database as a marketing user, you will see an anonymized view of these columns, meaning programmatically, without coding it, without having different databases, we can say that someone from marketing can only see the column first name in an anonymized way, like patient ABC324, and someone from research sees the full name. And in many cases, it's not even necessary that we see the full name, especially in Europe, where GDPR and HIPAA are really important. We have different solutions to work around these things. And I mean, oftentimes, especially if you're building research analytics, the names, addresses, and different things are not too important. And therefore, I would call it like a small or smart medical data warehouse where we implement different technical ways to anonymize, pseudonymize data and store it in different locations. Meaning we could even split the database into the sensitive part, which is hosted in the clinic, which is locked down, which has encryption enabled, and the not so sensitive data, like for example blood measurements or DNA data, being in the cloud. But if we just have the cloud values with an ID, let's say this is the DNA data of patient number 3, we can't make any conclusions on who that person is, especially if we kick out addresses, if we kick out ethnicity data and so on. But in case we still need this combination, we can still query our smart data warehouse and make the connection with the local sensitive data. And especially if you're, for example, offering an app or something, you might need the public cloud as a way to scale. Like let's say if there's one specific time frame where a lot of patients are in your clinic, then the cloud can easily scale up and down to manage the demand, but the connection with the sensitive data might not need so many credits. We could even cache it in the cloud with a timeout of a day or 6 hours, for example, and just make this connection with the sensitive database if it is really required. Anyways, if you're interested in something like this, or if you are interested in handling medical data in general, you can have a look at my website, because I'm providing several tutorials about it, all for free. You can download free material. And if you want, we can also have a conversation. Just head over to my website and see you soon.